Dibba dee ba dee ba do do, dee ba dee da do, do 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 dee ba dee do. Before I did the episode today, I thought about that, and I said, "Am I really gonna do that shit?" And I was like, "I'm gonna do that." Anyway, before this goes off the rails too early, not goes off the rails at all, because of course that's gonna happen. Before it goes off the rails too early, what's going on, everybody? This is the Whatever We Want podcast, and I am one of your hosts. I go by the name of Jazz, or you can call me Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
As nature intended.
In a minute.
Exactly. SJ, JT, whatever you want, what have you, and the like. And as always, I'm joined by the other host of the show.
Oh, y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Veo Grande on YouTube, sometimes referred to as Pete on the show. I'm here as well. And yeah.
And like I said, this is the Whatever We Want podcast, where we do just that. We talk about whatever we want. We don't lead this conversation. This conversation leads us, and we let these chips fall where they may.
Every Wednesday. That's right. And this Wednesday, I'm going to talk about something from a couple weeks ago now. Because we're talking about like the skydiving and some stuff you were doing recently. And I went on a road trip. Nice. Yeah, Gateway skydiving. I went on a road trip on a quest a couple weekends ago up north. See, a buddy of mine, I got some friends that drink bourbon, whiskey, and stuff. As such, I drink some as well. I'm more of a rum guy than I am a whiskey guy, but I will drink some bourbons and stuff because I have got friends that do it and they go, "This is good. This is not." Okay. It all tastes like bourbon to me. Cool. But good bourbons are clearly better than bad bourbons. I can tell you that. I just can't tell you why.
They say that just good alcohol, whether it be bourbon, vodka, rum. Yeah. Can tell the difference between good and bad, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. But it also requires drinking a variety of them to be like, yes, okay.
Be a connoisseur, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But my friends have some knowledge of the bourbon things. Like they'll just be listing brands and all this shit. Fluffles is one. I mentioned him on this show as Fluffles. He's definitely one of those. I get hints of oak mixed with so-and-so, and all of that, you know. When you try this bourbon, think a chocolate chip cookie that has been sitting outside on a tarmac in 90-degree weather. And I'm like,
what the fuck does that mean?
But I'm like, okay, I guess it's saying it's really strong and maybe some chocolate undertones if you try hard enough. If your palate's extinguished enough to find it. He hasn't said it that way, but that's how I feel.
Extinguished. You said extinguished. Distinguished. If your palate was extinct, I mean that shit is non-existent. If your palate, you over snorting. If your palate don't exist, motherfucker. Shit. Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, if your palate does that, whatever. So, but they know about it. But my buddy was at work, not Fluffles. There's no roommate. He was at work because I think I've just referred to him on the show as the roommate, so I haven't really put in other name to him. So yeah, roommate's like at his job. I know you know. I'm just in the context of the Omariverse. Via the internet, venture the internet, in Omarica, yeah, in Omarica, letting the people know how things are going in Omarica, yeah. So my roommate is talking to his boss, and his boss was like, not his boss, but a buddy at work, like an older dude, and he's like, "Yeah, my favorite bourbon is Old Pogue." The fuck is Old Pogue? It's a very rare bourbon up in Maysville, Kentucky. They do it every rarely, so you gotta be on a list online to get it. I've waited 3 years to get my case. In fact, I finally got my name called this year in October. I'm gonna.
You waited 3 years for the case?
Yeah.
It took that long?
Yeah, well, I can get into part of why that's the case in a moment, but yes.
That's the case anyway.
But he's like, yeah, you know what? You haven't tried it? I know what. You go up there to Kentucky to pick up my case of old Pogue, I'll give you a bottle. And so my roommate's like, damn. Yeah, it's like a case of 6 bottles, so he's like, you can get a bottle out of that case. And so my roommate's like, you know what? Why the hell not? Talks to Fluffles. Fluffles is like, I don't know what the fucking old Pogue is. I don't believe you that this is an actual bourbon. Fluffle spends time on the Bourbon Reddit and all this kind of shit. There's a Reddit, of course there is. There's a Reddit for everything.
That's why I said, of course there is.
Probably yeah, he spends time on the Bourbon Reddit, doing all this stuff, and he's like, I've never heard of this old Pogue. I don't believe you, roommate. And the roommate's like, yeah, nah, that's the case. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? It's up in Kentucky, and he wants me to go pick it up. So why not? Let's make a trip out of it. You, me, we can take Feo, we can take and roommate takes his wife as well. And it was like, okay, that's like 4 of us. Well, Fluffles lives with 2 other folks. I'm gonna call them Bitterwood, if I haven't referred to her on the show before. If I have on the show, I probably called her Bitterwood. But Bitterwood and get Neoteca, or Neo. Let's just say Neo. All right, Bitterwood and Neo. These ladies wanted to come as well. So it's like, you know what? We'll do a trip with the 6 of us, 5, 4 people that really like the bourbon, Bitterwood, Fluffles, Neo. My roommate's more on the rum side than I am, but he's a chef, he's a cook. Got a distinguished palate, Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been eating good for a while.
That's what's up. That's like Ibn, shout out to Big Bro, but he would love, because I cook. I don't know if I'm on the level of roommate, but Ibn would love when we were living together. Every now and then, like I said, we would split money, and I would just be like, yo, I'm gonna go grocery shopping, keep the receipt, I'll tell you like what we're gonna have, and then just pay me back. I cook, you wash dishes. He loved that. Like, like we had, spaghetti sometimes, and we had like breakfast and shit like that every now and then. So yeah, I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
What to cook is nice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, so they would be the main ones doing it. Obviously, roommate's wife wanted to come along on the road trip, no problem with that. Even though she's also not that into bourbon, but she's, it's group friend fun, so let's go. And then they're like, and my roommate's like, we should bring Feo because I just wanted to be while we're at some of these tastings, because they decided to make a trip out of it. We're gonna stop by various distilleries along the way. We're gonna make a bourbon quest out of this. I may have mentioned on a past episode Food Quest. This is Food Quest 2, Bourbon Quest, the tale of old Pogue. So we're going out.
You came up with all of it on top of your head is kind of like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so Food Quest 2, the sequel, the returning characters being my roommate and myself, and a new cast of other characters.
That was good.
So yeah, we're like, so this is what it's gonna be, and they're like, oh yeah, Feo can come too. Yeah, because Feo likes booze as much as anybody, even though he can't distinguish it. And he was hoping that at one of these tastings, they'd like ask me something, and they're like, so how do you feel? And they're like, what do you detect? It tastes like bourbon, and it's like some like $200 bourbon or some shit that I'm tasting. Just like, it tastes like bourbon.
$200 like a shot or some crazy shit, and then you say some shit like that.
I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I'd just probably be like, tastes really, really good. Mm-hmm.
Some dude coming over with fucking his napkin over his arms and shit. How does it taste to you, shit like that.
But yeah, so if you didn't know, a lot of bourbon is made in Kentucky. in the U.S. and everything like that. And I found out it's primarily because there's rules to this bourbon thing. I learned this via a couple of tours. We went to some tours and tasting, but one thing that damn near every tour mentioned is there's rules to what classifies you as a bourbon as opposed to just another whiskey or a corn whiskey. Like minimum 51, because you use grains to make the mash and do the stuff that turns into the alcohol and a lot more technical shit that I wasn't paying that much attention to, but you know, or how grains become liquid and shit. I don't know that part, or off the top of my head. I saw the machines and shit, but you get my point. But it's got to be 51% corn for one. It's got to be mainly corn, at least 51% corn. If the other grains outring it, it ain't a bourbon. It can taste just like it. It can be like 50% and 49, and 50 something else. That's a whiskey, damn it. That ain't a fucking bourbon.
It could be 50-50. That's not bourbon. It's got to be 1% at least majority corn.
It's got to be majority corn.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be majority corn. I believe that was one of the things there. It can't be flavored. It can't be artificially flavored at all. You can only, if you do flavor it, like you can't additively flavor it, I should say. Like you can't add anything. If it's flavored, it's coming from the barrel that it was put into, age for all the years. That it has to come from the sap of whatever or wood of whatever made that barrel. Sorry, there's a fucking...
I figured it when I saw you grab this water.
Bitch. Anyway.
Not the evil laugh. Could you imagine, real quick, if we lived a life somewhere like Bugs, with some big motherfucker that's like 100,000 times our size, fucking
just takes us water, zap that.
Yeah, and then like evil, like you hear just an evil laugh before you die. Ha ha ha, bitch. Ha ha ha.
Who's to say we don't?
Well, I mean, what is there?
Existential lingualism.
What is there out there that is 100,000, a million times our size?
Well, there's one obvious answer.
What are you gonna say, God?
Yeah.
God is not walking around stepping on us and taking magnifying glasses to burn us.
Not literally, but if you know what, we don't need to go down this philosophically lab, but you could just be like, oh yeah, he died. If you die or live is all up to the grace of God, right? So at the end of the day, he's the one pressing the button that's like, and today there goes you. All right, and boop. That's just being very.
Are you saying in that case that we are gods to these insects?
I am now.
Shut your Jason Statham talking ass up. Today is the day that I kill a fucking fly or some stupid ass shit.
Whoa. But yeah, so we're like, so there's other rules like when it comes to the flavoring and stuff, because pretty much it takes like a minimum of 4 years. Also, I think it has to be like a minimum of 4 years of fermentation or of being in the barrel to be classified. Part of the whole reason there's all these specifics for bourbon is because some president or somebody in the past declared bourbon America's national alcohol beverage. So because it is the official alcohol of America, you got to follow rules if you're going to call it this American thing.
Because like you said, otherwise it would just be whiskey or maybe scotch or scotch.
Whiskey, scotch is another type of whiskey. Probably based out of how they do it overseas in Scotland, from what I've guessed.
Or maybe even like rum would even be rum if it was. They're all probably somewhat the same thing. But yeah, you can't really run it through a filter or something like that, which I learned because while we went to Kentucky, we took a stop on the way up. We took a detour through Tennessee to stop by Jack Daniels's facility. Oh shit.
Yeah, and they had a tour, and we took a tour, and that's where I started hearing this shit the first time. And Jack Daniels, not a bourbon. They make sure to tell you they're a Tennessee whiskey. Part of the reason they're a Tennessee whiskey is because they filter their stuff with like charcoal to get some of the impurities and stuff out. If you're normally doing it, so when you store bourbon into barrels, they put them like in a big ass building that they can't control the temperature of that building. It's just at the mercy of the elements for however many years. It will sit in that fucking thing for a minimum of 4 years. Some bourbon products, it sits in the building for 10 years. Some bourbon products, it sits in the building for 15 years. And like I said, those barrels are at the mercy of the seasons. You don't open that shit and nothing. But what the reason that you keep it in the thing and you don't control the building is it allows the wood, which it has to be a fresh barrel. You can't have used that barrel for any other liquor beforehand. It's gotta be made in a fresh. It has to be the first liquor made in that barrel.
You make
a barrel of bourbon, it has to be a fresh barrel. Yeah,
has to be fresh. You can't be like, okay, well, we made the last batch in this. Go ahead and reuse it. Like, no.
Yeah, like if you're making it from scratch and stuff, you can do what they call a finish, where you can, after it's already made, you put in like another thing to finish it. But its maturation process has to be
fresh every time.
Damn. Yeah. So anyway, so pretty much while it's in the barrel, the idea is over the seasons, because you are in Kentucky or someplace like that gets all 4 seasons. When it gets hot, the wood just naturally and the liquid naturally expand. Cold, it contracts. And as it's doing that, the liquid inside gets soaked into and pushed out of the wood. And it turns from a white color to that amber color that you normally know from whiskey and bourbon and stuff.
Being dark.
Right.
Oh shit. Okay.
So, and the sap in the wood is what's allowed that is soaking into and stuff, is the only thing that's really allowed to flavor it, which is why it's got to be the fresh barrel and stuff. But some people, they char the barrels and stuff, and with them charring the inside of that barrel for the process, that is the natural filter for impurities. Jack Daniels does an extra step where they filter it through charcoal to begin with, and then they put it in the barrel and then so it's like extra stuff, but it also gives it a specific taste that it has. That's specific to Jack Daniels. They just can't call it bourbon. It's a Tennessee whiskey, but it's their thing, and they're one of the oldest distilleries in the country, to my knowledge. And yeah, we took the tour. We got to see a lot of stuff. They have the original spring that Jack Daniel used as his water source. There's like a cave that it goes into.
Jack Daniel?
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Willy Wonka chocolate river. Oh, I found a river of chocolate, so I built my factory around it. It's pretty much that, but it's a stream of water. We source our water from the spring that goes a couple miles down. Dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. We do this, that, and the other.
Holy shit.
It was really cool. And we go into this office, and they have this is one of the first. This used to be the main office of the place early back in the day, and it was either Jack Daniel himself or one of the first motherfuckers to own the place after him. Loved to throw parties in the area, get drunk at it. He's owned a fucking distillery, why not? But one day he came in hungover, couldn't get in the safe, got mad and kicked the safe out of frustration. I get it, we've all been there. He kicked the safe and he broke his toes. And this is
the shit out the damn
this
safe.
is late 1800s, early 1900s. Doctoral help wasn't the same quality, and people also were a lot more I refuse to look at shit anyway until it's too late back then. So gangrene happened. He lost the toes, then the foot, then the leg, then the life. And the lady goes to say, moral of the story, don't come to work early. And
like the moral of the story isn't anything but that. That's funny.
Yeah, she's like, and that's the safe that did it. And just points at the safe.
Have the fucking
safe.
They
had the office that it happened in. The safe is still there. That's the safe that killed whatever owner that was.
It was like the late 1800s
or early 1900s. I don't remember the year.
It was over 100 fucking years, and they still got the goddamn safe. You know, it's a good thing I ain't superstitious. I'd be like, "Boy, get that safe out of here. That's bad juju."
I'm like, the actual moral is don't kick the safe, but okay.
But like, what's his name? He had to have kicked the shit out of that safe.
Dude, you know when you're mad, you kick stuff really hard.
I mean, people kick shit, but like, you break your fucking toes, bitch.
I know a guy.
He was kicking it like it was a fucking game-winning field goal.
Hey, I know a guy that punched the wall until he sprained his wrist at work because he was mad. Yeah, you know him too.
He punched it until.
The intent was not to sprain the wrist, but it was like. Of course.
You know how crazy you got to be. I'm trying to sprain my wrist.
Like he was mad at somebody, but he knew he couldn't hit them because he was the boss. You know, and that looks bad. So he hit the wall. And it was not even just like a one time. It was every syllable, get out of my fucking face. And then
that's a little different. And the reason why I say that's a little different is because it's not a one time. Oh shit!
Well, I don't know if that nigga kicked. I'm not sure if he kicked it once. He probably got mad. She said he got mad at an inanimate object for being an inanimate object.
Good point.
So he could have been like,
"Fucking." You saying that reminds me. What's that one movie that I forget? I don't know what the movie is, but I've seen it quote a million times. So and so, it's an inanimate object. You're a fucking inanimate object.
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about, and I love that so line.
And they like British and shit. This shit's so funny. Fucking inanimate object. You're a fucking inanimate object.
When you're really mad.
Right, when you start hurtling insults that make no sense. I remember when I was in school, they were talking about. I wasn't there. They were talking about this one dude. We were in middle school or something. And the two dudes, they were laughing about it, but they were saying that they were saying, like, you know, talking shit to each other. And one dude was like, "Yeah, well, you a girl, your mama." Like,
yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we go through the tour of Jack Daniels, and it's fun. But it turns out, now, one thing that scared me about Jack Daniels was the name of the city. Because we're going up to Tennessee. So there's already, you know, some worry about certain things.
What's the name of the city?
Lynchburg.
And it was definitely with a Y, not an I, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because if it was an I, it would be bad. If it was
like it's named after John Lynch or some shit. It's named after John Lynch. It's named after a person. Now, I'm not sure if the other thing is also named after John Lynch, but the city is named after John Lynch. And there's Confederate flags in the stores. So yeah, but the people themselves were very kind. The atmosphere was a little on edge.
A little on edge.
But yeah. Anyway, like I said, the people themselves though, very kind, very nice. Didn't experience anything of that nature. Right, it's just I'm in a place called Lynchburg with Confederate flags everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. In Tennessee.
I'd feel weirder about the Confederate flags over anything too, right? I definitely understand that part. Like you looking around and you just like,
I was like, oh, they don't like me around here.
Right. It'd be like real quick. When I was doing my tour around Missouri. And you find out when you tour around Missouri that aside from Kansas City and St. Louis, most of Missouri is actually a lot more rural than you would honestly think. So, and a lot of people have accents, even though it is the Midwest. And I remember I was doing my tour around the city when I was doing the dental tour and shit, teaching kids, you know, the importance of brushing their teeth and all that stuff. And me and my tour partner, we stopped in this one gas station, and because I had to like pee, and we had to get gas, and so we get the gas, and I had to go in there and use the bathroom, and I went in there to use the bathroom, and I come out, and I saw something in there, so I immediately went to her in the van, and I was just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. She's like, what? Looked in there, and I'm not political at all. Like, I don't give a fuck about politics. But I looked in there, just a picture of Donald Trump, just, and I know what that could mean. And I looked at her and was like, like we with two black people in the area, it's like the dude behind the counter, like you said, the dude behind the counter, really cool, very personable. He was good. It was all gravy, everything, no issues, But that cardboard cutout of Trump in the air, I was like, ah. Meanwhile, her ass, she started laughing and she was like, I would have wanted to take a picture with the cutout. Oh, and I tell my mom that however long later, my mom gonna say the same thing. I would have taken a picture with him. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, anyway.
Yeah. So we stopped by like a barbecue place too that was really good down the street. Apparently we chose some cooking competition time to get there, so parking was a bit harder than we expected. But whatever. We went, the tour of Jack Daniels was cool, but apparently Lynchburg is in a dry county, which means they can sell less liquor, if not no liquor. Not exactly sure what the rules are for dry county, but you shouldn't be a whiskey distillery, let alone one of the nation's biggest whiskey distilleries, in a dry county. Oh, by the way, part of the reason they're one of the nation's biggest whiskey distilleries, they mentioned, was Mr. Frank Sinatra, who was a big fan of Jack Daniels whiskey and would often drink it neat during his shows, and unpaid, quote unquote, but unendorsed, he just, of his own volition, would be like, this is Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey, the nectar of the gods. I know he doesn't talk like that. I don't know how he talks, but it ain't that. He's like, lock me, lady, tonight. He's not like, this is Jack Daniels, the nectar of the gods. But
so basically, he was just endorsing the shit of Jack Daniels, even though they weren't paying him.
Actually, he might have been more of a around here. You're like, and now the end is near. So yeah, he might have had a normal talking register. But yeah, this is Jack Daniels, the nectar of the gods.
Shit, even though
just be drinking it at the thing. Yeah. And some people want to be like Sinatra, they go out and buy Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey.
He's the coolest dude on the planet, man, when he was alive. So
and they have their own little Sinatra blend as well. That from, according to Fluffles and the others, way overpriced. But because it has Sinatra name on it, so people want to pay the price.
That's almost like 50 Cent putting his name on a vitamin water.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was overpriced, but it's almost like a celebrity endorsement with some shit like that.
And yeah, they made fun of it in 30 Rock too. Like some celebrity they got to endorse like a thing, and they're like having the little kickoff party and stuff, and then they drink it and all just. This is the worst thing ever. It doesn't matter though. We're gonna sell millions.
The name of this shit, Beats by Dre. Now, granted, Beats are amazing, really, really amazing, good quality headphones. But you put Dre's name on that motherfucker.
Yeah, if you like it, then you should put your name on it. I mean, or even if you don't like it in this case, they'll like it if you put your name on it. They gonna like it if you fucking put your name on it. They gonna like it if you fucking put your name on it. Don't play it on it.
The rapper Sweetie had a thing with some fast food chain. I forgot who it was. I want to say McDonald's. Shit, Travis Scott, I think, had a fucking.
Yeah, he had a McDonald's meal.
Yeah, so shit, you put your name with shit.
Travis Scott is this one, right? Got mad or had the bad apology video because like people died at his concert. Or was that somebody else?
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
He was doing like this fucking.
Oh, I haven't seen the video.
He looked like he was trying way too hard to look apologetic.
You know what the fuck you were trying to tell me? Travis Scott, he had I think it was Astro World or some.
Yeah, people got trampled.
People got rest in peace. Got fucked up.
Yeah,
and he didn't necessarily take accountability. At least it seemingly.
Right, because that was like one of the opening clips to the video. Anyway, so And so how do they sell whiskey in a dry county? You know, they had like some jokes and stuff, and they're like, well, you know, we're here on an educational tour. At the end of the tour, you'll have an educational experience about what we make here. You know, the tasting. And, you know, after that, you go to our souvenir shop where you get yourself a nice, you know, souvenir bottle that may or may not have alcohol in it. And, you know, I actually got some souvenir bottles. All right, so, and now, these...
We should all learn to be like the Jack Daniels distillery. That's some slick shit.
The two bottles I'm about to show you that I got from Jack Daniels are two of the 3 bottles I bought all weekend. Some of the people on this quest bought about 2 or 3 bottles per location. Anyway,
yeah, 2 or 3 bottles. So what's up with the 3rd bottle? Did you finish it already?
I didn't get it from Jack Daniels.
Oh, from Jack Daniels. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So one, I got something that you can only get there. It's like a twin blend whiskey that they have there for this distillery specific. You can't get it anywhere but at the distillery, so why not? It was only $50. Fantastic.
It's almost half gone. It must be good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not a lot in there, but yeah. This one, Fluffles and them were going crazy about. It's a single barrel rye. Single barrel proof rye. Sorry, it's like 129 proof, so not too high, but you know, 129 proof. That's this. This is really good. This I will be going through a hell of a lot more slow, even though that was only 70. But yeah, I got the.
I was gonna say that's the kind of stuff where like you take a shot, especially that second bottle, you take a shot of it and it fuck you up.
If you don't drink a lot, definitely. But I drink.
Like I don't drink. If I took a shot, I'd damn near be drunk off of just a shot.
Probably. I usually just drink it like in a glass, you know, just about like that much, and I'm good for the night. I'm not trying to get drunk either, but it's like, hey,
you just get a little buzz.
Yeah.
Taste it.
Yeah, but you're definitely feeling it with that. But yeah, so we did that. And then we went up to Kentucky for the actual fucking bourbon. We went to the bourbon state.
Road trip with your friends like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Roommate Iron Man to drive up there as the sole driver. Yeah, and we stopped by Buc-ee's along the way. It's a gas station.
Never been to one. I've heard they're pretty cool.
Worth a shot. Worth a shot. Gas Pro Shops, as a sign of theirs said once. So we get to Kentucky. Thursday's over. Friday, we split up. Roommate and the missus go out on the town. They go on their quest to go to some distilleries. So it's me, Neo, Bitterwood, and Fluffles. And I'm along for the ride. I've got friends that are way too nice and paying for the majority of these tours and stuff. So I'm like, where are we going? And so we go. The first place we go Friday, Jim Beam Distillery. They make a lot of different things. James B. Beam. I got a magnet.
I never knew his middle initial, but okay.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, Claremont, Kentucky. We went out there. We stopped in there. They got some bottles of some like expensive shit. I got a magnet to be like.
You got some bottles of expensive shit. I got a magnet. I feel you.
Like I went here too. I was here too. I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I bet because y'all were shopping for whiskey and bourbon and shit, I bet they had some shit in there that probably was so fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, like $130, $200 bottles. Yeah, none of that was me. I think I might have spent maybe $200 total on the weekend. Like I said, I got those. But we go from there. They wanted to go to Wild Turkey, but Wild Turkey was shut down for tours, and it was a little too far out the way. And we needed to get over to Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy, can't see the bottle because of lighting, but I've got an empty bottle of it back there. It's a bourbon. They're a younger brand. And they didn't really have a full-on tour, but what they had was a cool little tasting. We also just did a tasting at Jim Beam, not a tour. And we had some stuff at the restaurant. We got some tasters of stuff that they would eventually buy as well. But we went there. After that, we went to Angel's Envy Distillery, and they had a tasting that ended with the option of filling your own bottle. So Bitterwood and Fluffles each got their own bottle of a specific, that location only version of Angel's Envy. That they get to name the bottle, put it in a box, get a special box for it and stuff.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
like build a bear, build a bourbon,
right? Yeah, they show you how to fill a bottle. He tells you do and take pictures and stuff. So I took a picture and then I left with the pin. It's angel wings.
Oh, that you
because Angel's Envy, yeah, like a pin. And I got another thing that has angel wings on it. It's on my desk somewhere, but I got some souvenirs, you know. That's cool. They got some bottles and some shirts and stuff. And then we went. They went to White Castle for the first time. That was fun.
Because they're from Florida.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Because that's like nothing. Damn. Okay, that's fun.
We stopped by somewhere else for like a tasting. I forget exactly where. But then dinner Friday night was at this place called the Brown Hotel. It's a famous hotel, apparently one of the oldest hotels in America type deal. And it had a real fancy restaurant to sit in and eat and stuff. And my roommate was like, hey, you know what's on the menu as something you can drink? Old Pogue. So he ordered a drink of Old Pogue to try it because he's like, I gotta know what this is.
It's right there.
So yeah, he tried it. He's like, okay, looking forward to this. And so Friday night, chill out. Saturday, we're like, well, we got some places we need to stop. 10:30 a.m. we went to a place called Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace makes they're another one of the longest running distilleries in America. They stayed open during Prohibition. And this one was for the tour as well as the gift shop and tasting, because with this place, when we got there, there were people who had camped out from 6 a.m. We got there at 10:30 and there was like a line that was like an hour and a half to wait to get into the gift shop. Because
they camped out, God damn.
Because when I say Bourbon or Buffalo Trace makes a lot of shit, they make a lot of the really fancy shit, or like really expensive, hard to find shit too. Because they mentioned like they got those factories with the different floors. They're like, this top floor will be 4 to 6 years, and that's Buffalo Trace basic product. The second 2 floors will be in there for about 6 to 10 years, and they're gonna be this kind of liquor. And the bottom floor, they're down there for 15 years on those shows. And by the way, through the expanding and contraction thing, you lose some of the and evaporation, you lose some of the liquid you put in there. Your typical bourbon would lose like about 4 to 6%. I'm just ballparking. And 10 years are gonna lose about 20% of what you got. You lose damn near 60% of what you put in that barrel with the 15 years, which is why they end up being more rare and expensive. Because it takes so long to do that, and you lose so much in the process. And one of those things is called George T. Stagg, which is really hard to find. So we're sitting there, and we're like, apparently you have a rare chance of that being in the gift shop, whatever they serve. Out of all the like 8 or 12 different things they also got a thing called Blanton's. Which was a brand that's been around forever. In fact, that is my 3rd bottle. Blanton's.
Actually, yeah, before we recorded with shout out to Bill.
Yeah.
And you were talking about that, and Bill was like, what? Like he was like, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah,
so got a bottle of Blanton's. That was my 3rd bottle. I also got a pin for George T. Stagg. Just trust me, it's the logo for George T. Stagg. Because camera.
You said everybody was out here buying bottles, and you were just like, bro, I'm gonna at least buy just like a magnet or a pin. I ain't gotta buy a fucking bottle every time.
I was here too. But I'm enjoying myself. That's not a complaint at all. I'm literally enjoying myself. Right. Lots of mountains and shit. And then we stopped by another place for lunch, and then it comes time for oh yeah, by the way, none of the super rare shit was in the gift shop that day. But if you get the tour, which there's a waiting, it's one of those Spots open. Click. Oh, your page took 2 seconds to load. Sold out. Type thing to get on these tours.
People camping out 4 to 5 hours ahead.
Because the tour you don't only just skip to the front of the line to get in. They make sure if they sell out of any of their whatever selection for the day, they have bottles reserved so people who go on the tours can buy one. So you want to be on these tours, and Roommate is godlike and got us in on that tour. So we just skipped right to the front and went in and stuff. However, the selection was more of their common stuff that day. We didn't get the like Eagle Rare or the Stag or any of that stuff being on display. But Blanton's, I was like, can we find Blanton's anywhere? Not as easily as you would think, as some of this other stuff we got, like regular Buffalo Trace you can find just about everywhere. Blanton's you couldn't. I'm like, then that's what I'll get. Because that's part of why I was like, I'm going to save up for this. If this is where the really rare stuff is, I'm going to save up for that. I wasn't thinking about Old Pogue, which I'll get to. But I was like, I'll get this Blanton's. So I got the Blanton's. Anyway, after that, we stop by another place for a quick tasting. And then we go up to Maysville. And it is way out. All the way up at the fucking top of Kentucky. And I'm falling asleep in the car / playing on the Switch. Eventually, we're following the GPS. We're going through mountain passes. And then we get to our destination. And it's just in the middle of the fucking road. Mountain one side, trees on the other. What the fuck? That's where the GPS said. It said we arrived. There's nothing here. Look in the distance. Police officers waving us ahead, pointing like down, and we go, and sure enough, it's like a little thing that turns into like this little hillside parking lot where there's a house sticking out the side of the mountains, and this is the old Pogue distillery. And it's looking out over the Ohio River. You can see Ohio on the other side. And it's just this fucking house on the fucking cliff in the mountains that's got like the factory down below at the bottom of the mountain on that cliff side. But they're just got some old people that are like, here's our products. This is our one time a year we're open to like sell things. You want to try some tastings? Yeah, you can taste this. You can taste this. Oh, so nice. Yeah, you can go inside, see some stuff about old Pogue. We've been around for X amount of years. We're a very small distillery though. And it's just like, this is surreal. It's like I said, the fucking damn near imaginary. The GPS leads you to a fucking.
Clearly, I was thinking clearly it happens like often enough that when y'all were like, "What the hell?" and the cops were like, "No!" Like they clearly have had it happen.
Yeah,
they didn't talk to y'all. They were like, "We know what's up."
Come on. Yeah, they're only apparently open like that for like a few days out of the year. Hence the waiting list to be on like things to get a whole case, because they got to make stuff and save it aside from you and stuff like that, because again, you lose a lot of product or you don't have that much, that you're making each time. So if you're a small distillery like them, it's limited supply. So if they got a special order a case for somebody, they're like years in advance so that you can get that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we went up there, we got some of the old Pogue. The tasting sizes were damn near the size I poured a drink normally. I'm like, yeah, yay for not being the designated driver. I tasted like one of damn near everything. It was all really good. I was kind of sad that I had bought the Blanton's. Not that I don't like Blanton's, but I'm just like, this is even more rare. In hindsight, it's like, this is even more rare than that, because you got to go up in the fucking mountainside to, be with Danny Boy and them to see what's going on. But yeah, we get that, and then we got dinner at some other restaurant that was up there, and we're like, and Roommates just stops by some little back place, like a distillery that's like down the block from something. It doesn't even look like a distillery. It looks like just some small warehouse about the size of my apartment building. And they're like, yeah, we're a distillery. We sell this. We got this. We're about to relocate to an actual big distillery. But it turns out like part of the reason everybody's in Kentucky is because you need corn. In Kentucky, they grow a lot of fucking corn. Apparently it's too good for corn. You grow so much corn down there, and that's why all the bourbon distilleries are down there. Now you and me, you probably thought when you think corn, you probably think Nebraska or some shit, because of like corn huskers and all that shit. But I'm like, I didn't think about it in the sense that Kentucky has so much corn they drink it.
Whiskey, bourbon, yeah. I ain't thinking about that.
Can you imagine having so much corn you drink it?
That is a very good point. We had so much corn, we didn't know what to do with it. So we turned it into a liquid and got drunk off of it.
And we sell it worldwide.
That is a good point.
Oh yeah. Buffalo Trace has a little thing I learned from their tour. They have a little pin in their cap. Like I said, Jack Daniel's one of the oldest distilleries, but Jack Daniel's had to close for a bit during, the 20s, early 30s for a reason known as Prohibition. No souvenir bottles during that time. Buffalo Trace didn't close during Prohibition. How, you ask? Well, are you aware of the medicinal properties of whiskey?
Oh, fuck medicinal. Okay, look, this is what I'm saying before you tell me. Before you say, was this the whole ain't no actual medicinal properties of whiskey, but when somebody got fucked up and they didn't have medicine to numb you up and shit, they would say, take this shot of whiskey so you don't feel pain while we fucking operate on your arm and that shit?
Well, that might be part of it, but no. It was more like, oh, if you have a honey whiskey, because of the honey and stuff in the honey whiskey, you drink it and it helps soothe the throat. You just a little bit. You don't need a lot. Also, your kids are suffering, your baby suffering from insomnia. Just take some whiskey, dip your fingers, and then you go.
People used to do that shit back in the old days.
Yeah. For real. So they had a lot of home. They had a lot of home remedies and like, oh, but it's medicinal, bro. Legalize it. Type shit that happens with every substance at some point. That's how they were doing it with whiskey and stayed open. And there you go.
I mean, they used to put cocaine back in motherfucking Coca-Cola. That's where the Coca came from. And then I remember too, this is years ago when me and Ibn were little. Me, my mom, Ibn, and one of my mom's, good friends or whatever. We go to the to Atlanta to the Coca-Cola factory. They never once said we used to put cocaine in the soda. They never said that, as much as they did the tour and everything. But you see all this stuff on the wall where it was like the Wonders drink. Cures headaches, alleviates pain, and I'm like, cause y'all was high as shit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They didn't refine it into powder and dribble it into Coke. It's just the plant they were using. They didn't do anything to keep whatever's in that powder from getting into the Coke.
I mean, yeah, but it's very telling that the fucking name of the drink is still to this day might as well be cocaine cola.
But I'm saying I don't think they knew that cocaine.
I get what you're saying.
At the time, it was still just the plant. It's like, I'm gonna flavor it with this. Aha! Damn, people really like it. I don't know why.
I remember that too. They were like, the cures headaches, the Wonder drink. I'm like, yeah, man, it's because you high out your fucking mind.
So yeah, we get the old Pogue. Roommate gets like damn near, I think, a bottle of everything they have, as well as the one that he inevitably gets from the case that he picked up for the old man. They're like, how'd you find out about us? So. Bitterwood, Fluffles, and Neo, they get a bunch of bottles of some stuff as well between them to share. I got a glass that I've been making some use out of. It's an old Pogue glass. It says Old Pogue on it. P-O-G, whatever. Yeah. Old is, I think, in here. But, oh no, it's not. Old is to the side. Since 1876. So they're not even a young thing. They're just a small one. They just are content to be there on their fucking mountainside. And you could go out on the back porch and see the Ohio River. I got a couple pictures with some of the friends like Bitterwood and other people back looking at that. Neo took pictures the entire trip. I can't wait to see her pictures and stuff because she got like different mountains and there's a fuck ton of trees up there. It's nice.
I love people like that. Like one of my friends when I was like heavily at one time doing like acting show after acting, like play after play after play. One of my friends, I haven't interacted with her in a minute, but she was one of the people where she would take like all pictures of all kind of shit, and it's like stuff that you don't even think. Some people like they have that eye and that mindset to take a million pictures, and you don't think to, but you're glad that somebody did.
Mm-hmm.
And you, like you say, you look back and you're like, damn, where would I be without you thinking to take these pictures? And now we got a million pictures, to look back.
Exactly. Yeah, that was if I called. So used to calling him Mini, whatever. We had a little guy on the trip with Food Quest 1 that was the camera guy and took all the pictures, like the one on the fucking beach with the. I still love on the first quest the random guy just because it's funnier to say it the way my roommate does. The random guy we picked up off the street to join us on that quest. That was still hilarious. I still don't think he was random, but he might as well have been. That was the first and last time I saw the man. I was on Food Quest.
That's a story for a different time.
Right, but pretty sure I've told it. If not, that is a story for a different time.
Doesn't sound familiar. But
yeah. But anyway, so Sunday we head back. Or Saturday night we had another fancy dinner, whatever. Sunday we head back and we stop by the first Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The first?
Yeah, or at least what they call the first. I
mean, like,
but yeah,
but
yeah,
like the first.
It's now a KFC / museum to KFC, whatever. It got the little gas station pumps in the parking lot, representative of Harlan Sanders' pre-KFC career and shit like that.
Harlan Sanders' first name is Harlan. I never knew his first name. I'm not even trying to.
Yeah. Also, not actually a colonel in the U.S. military.
I feel like I knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew his first name was Harlan.
He was made an honorary colonel of something local in Kentucky, though. So, but not a U.S. military one, because you can't honorary U.S. military personnel. That's not a thing, to my knowledge. Respect if you are. Anyway, and otherwise, just respect the military. Anyway, we go in there and we get there a little bit early, and it's a little bit chilly out, like low 50s. Not like it's cold, but we're not really dressed for the occasion. I'm kind of in with my jacket, but I was wearing shorts. But we're waiting for them to open, and there's eventually, while we're looking around the parking lot, taking pictures of stuff, I just start hearing like, like a pipe, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? We're like, is that the sound of silence? What the fuck is the sound of silence being played on a fucking pipe or something? Look around, and there's just this gentleman who looks like he lives outside, and he's just leaned up against the building, kind of bundled up, and he's just playing a fucking pipe and just minding his own business. And so do we. And he's just, okay, we go in, we eat. I get some bad news from a family member that I won't get into here. And then we get in the car, and while we're headed out, because we were in there for like an hour and a half, by the way, museum, we were in the eating area, TV with like commercials from all over the years. There's like lots of memorabilia and shit on the walls, and they're like timeline of KFC fame and all this shit. You go to the bathrooms, there's shit like, and that's when I was so-and-so, so-and-so, like it was supposed to be Colonel Sanders' musings or some shit, just drunken ramblings about, and then I told him, into track 3. Track 4, how to get to your nearest KFC. You could start by hitting I-95 and and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, like, what the hell is, okay. So that was crazy, but we get out, and we were in there for like a good hour 15. We get out, we're heading to the car, and just dude still just playing, still just minding his own business playing that fucking pipe. And we head back, listening to the radio about football games and stuff along the way, cheering for some teams, lamenting others. But it was a Sunday, we got in late, and was like, that was a nice little 4-day trip. And we rented a car via Turo. We were scared about taking it out of the state because they told us not to. But Turo says even if the owner tells you not to take it out of the state, because it's on Turo, you can take it out of the state. And so we did it. It's it's like owner rules. The person who owns the car can say what they want. This is Turo's car because they're renting it through this service. So we say you can take it out the state.
That's crazy. They say, "Bitch, you thought."
Yeah. We were waiting like the whole next week for the angry message, like, "Why'd you put 2,200 miles on my car?" type shit.
A lot of motherfucking miles.
Yeah, I think roommate did the math, especially including the fact that we went up to Maysville and I think just taking the numeric amount, it was practically driving from like Florida to across the country, like to Seattle, to like Washington. We pretty much drove we drove like the distance side to side U.S.
You were driving like all up here and down
and through Georgia and stuff. But yeah, it was fun. I've gotten some good things out of this. I haven't opened the Blantons yet just because this presentation with these fucking little horse thingies. By the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 letters. There's 8 of these like things, and each top has a letter attached to it, and it is a different pose. It's like a horse in a racing stride. There used to do a thing where if you collected all 8, like back when Blanton's was more rare and less known about, if you collected all 8, they'd give you a like trophy case to put it on, and I think like a free bottle or some shit. They don't do it no more, because you can
go online and order this shit.
Shit, you can buy 8 of them and the trophy stand in the gift shop.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah. This is an L, by the way. And not because I consider myself having lost, but because it says L
take that
on this. It's an L, but it's a W. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do around here. We win. We W's. We don't eat them like Jameis, but we get them. You ever see that? Jameis Winston eating W's?
No, you told me about that.
I'm taking his fingers and throwing it in his mouth and making a W with it. Eating W's around here.
What was I gonna say? Speaking of traveling, sometime in the not too distant future, and when I say not too distant, I mean like pretty soon. I want to go to, and I would love for you to join me straight up. I gotta see a play on Broadway at some point. Now, Broadway tickets be, 120, 150, if not more than that, depending on where you go for like okay seats, not even like front row, right? So it's gonna be some cash, and we gotta go up to fucking New York, and fucking hotel to stay in and shit. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be some money to stay, but we gotta get up there, find a place to stay, get some food, and get the tickets for the show.
Transportation as well.
Well, I said we gotta get up. Well, get around, yeah. Although you don't need a car as bad.
Because subway and shit. But you still gotta be ready for subway and shit. Yeah, or it still costs money.
Money for it, right?
Or taxi or whatever the fuck.
But what I was saying was, I want to go see a play in Broadway, and I'd love for you to join me, boy. So I'm just throwing it out there. Speaking of traveling and shit, cause yeah, I don't know. I've been looking at clips here and there of Beetlejuice the musical, and looking at clips of School of Rock the musical, and they just did the show Top Dog Underdog. I want to, that's a great show. They got something called MJ the musical, which is about Michael Jackson and like his life, and it was just like all this stuff. Like I've seen the Lion King Broadway production, at the Fox years ago, as well as Phantom of the Opera. And it's just like all this shit. And it's like, I said to my mom, I want to see a show on Broadway. She said, why not be in the show? I said, obviously, of course, that. I want to do that. But I definitely want to just see a show on Broadway, man. I got to.
Yeah. I did manage. Fair. Money's the main problem there. But I did manage to get some tiny bottles of things because they got this Buffalo Trace bourbon cream or whatever. It's kind of like it's a cream liquor or whatever, or cream liqueur, but bourbon flavored. Anyway, they had this thing in the tasting because they got a bourbon flavored root beer at the place too, and they were like, taste this, taste the root beer, now mix the two together and it's like a float. That's what's up. And so on the way out, I got 2 bottles of the root beer and one of each of these so I can make floats at home. And yeah, like I said, basic Buffalo Trace, just I'm at Buffalo Trace and I leave without getting Buffalo Trace? I got it now. But yeah, no, it was fun. Bourbon Quest, we were all in the car, enjoying, listening to songs. There was a debate about, NSYNC versus Backstreet versus 98 Degrees. 98 Degrees sucks, everyone knows this, compared to the other two. I'm sure there's some people who do cherish that, but it is what it is.
NSYNC for the win, by the way. Keep going.
I agree. And then the missus, the roommate's wife, was like, well, while we were talking about that, she's like, well, I'm old school. I like Boyz II Men. I'm like, well, clearly Boyz II Men is better than the 3 of them, but that's not what that argument's about. That's like throwing Dragon Ball Z in a Big 3 argument. No, Dragon Ball's way before the Big 3. The Big 3's called that for their own thing. When you argue what's the best Big 3, you're just talking about One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, and you can have your debates about that. You can't be like, I like Dragon Ball, that's my favorite Big 3. No, obviously Dragon Ball's better. All 3 of them are well, not all 3 of them, Bleach isn't, but Naruto and One Piece definitely are trying to be like Naruto, or be like Dragon Ball. So
who's better, Paul London or Brian Kendrick? Well, I like The Rock. It's like, look, dude.
Okay, nigga, obviously we like The Rock. That's not what we're talking about.
Right, come on,
there's levels to this. And then I was like, what about Drew Hill? And they're like, who? I'm like, the group Cisco's from. Come on. Oh, the guy that had the one song? No, he had, like, y'all keep underrating Cisco. And Bitterwood Black.
Oh, well, okay. I can't help you there then.
Roommate's missus was white, the one that brought up Boyz II Men.
Well, okay, yeah, but Boyz II Men is more well known than Drew Hill ever was.
Yeah, and my roommate brought up Master P in a conversation before I did. This don't matter.
Finish your story.
we went home. We're all the same, Jazz. No, we're different. We're different, and that's okay. Relish in the differences. Praise the differences. Praise the differences.
Out of nowhere inappropriate.
Damn. Yeah, praise the differences, but acknowledge them.
Not like hateful, just
Yeah, praise the differences, but acknowledge the differences. I think it's crazy that we try to act like we're not different, and that leads to people dying to be so when they already are. Embrace it.
They're already dying.
Well, that too.
I knew what you meant.
Well, that too. But yes, they're already different. You just gotta embrace your differences.
Hopefully you will embrace us on our socials. So if you would like to follow your boy, you could go ahead and look me up under the name, anywhere you stream your music, any music streaming platform, look me up under the name Super Jazz. That's going to be spelled SUPERJAZ. Go ahead and look for the debut solo album I dropped back in 21 called My Secret Identity. You might have to put in Super Jazz, My Secret Identity, since I'm not that famous yet. Also, on X, Twitter, go ahead and look me up under the handle SuperJazz2, so that's SuperJazz2. And of course, on Instagram, you can find and follow me under the name Forever Super Jazz, the word forever spelled correctly. And go ahead and like on Facebook, like the page Aquarian Rising Productions. I started a production company for plays and, other things, hopefully in the future, but right now, plays. We did the inaugural production back in June. And 2024, I got some, like I said in the last episode, I got some figurative ink drying on some pages, but I got some things cooking for 2024. So go ahead, look me up. Aquarian Rising Productions. Give the page a like. That's Aquarian, not Aquarius. Where can they find you, man?
Y'all know where y'all can find me. First off, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast. I'm also elsewhere on YouTube on my own channel, Feo Grande. That's Feo Grande. Got a couple of shows I do over there. One I do with a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, Bill Smith. Been on here a few times. Yeah, we call it This Guy Hasn't Seen. We target movies back and forth, little movie club, and discuss what we got. One guy seen it, one guy hasn't. You know how it goes. I believe this time we're going, speaking of Cisco, Once Upon a Time in the West. Love less, lost his damn mind in the West. Yeah. No, Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh, I thought you were talking Wow West. Okay.
No, but Once Upon a Time in the West. Anyway.
It has nothing to do with Cisco at all, except that he said that line in the song. Actually, Will Smith said the line.
He sang along with it. Once Upon a Time in the West. Lost his damn mind in the West.
I thought y'all were doing Wild Wild West.
We did Once Upon a Time in the West. He has seen that.
Of course he has. But I think Wild Wild West is an overhated movie. I think that movie is not bad, and everybody shitted on it for no reason. But anyway,
I'm sure you do. We also I will agree with overhated. There are fun moments to that movie. I'm not saying
the movie is like the best movie ever.
Like I said, I will agree with the term because I like looking at things by the definition of the word. I will agree with you. It is overhated. It is treated far worse than it should be.
It's like people think that Nickelback can say they're worst band ever, and Nickelback's music is not that shitty.
Nah, they said that a hero could save us, okay?
I ain't gonna stay here and wait. So
yeah, exactly. So me and Bill have another show on the channel called You Don't Watch Sports. That's what it's called. If you don't watch sports, it's the show for you. And if you do, it's still the show for you because Bill and I do watch sports. So it's a show for everybody. All the shows are for everybody. Watch them. Enjoy it. Anyway, we do that every week, every Saturday. And that's good. We even have other guests on there where it's not even just me. Like we had the bro, Ibn, on the show a couple weeks back. He went out there and killed it. Good for him. And yeah, I also have a Twitter and Twitch. There's no X. X gonna go away, damn it. And Twitter is where I am, as well as Twitch, at Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. I'm playing Spider-Man and Street Fighter, but Spider-Man 2 is fun.
Let's go. Well, whether it be about Food Quest 2, Bourbon Quest, The Tale of Old Pogue, what are we going to talk about next time?
Whatever we want.
Be nice to yourself, everybody. Seriously.
Adiosness.